we're good?
Yeah.
All right, we're back on. We've already recalled, but let's just start with a roll call, please.
Amanda Harness. Here. Samantha McDavid.
Present.
Sierra Moses.
Here.
Ariel Owens.
Present.
Jeremy Olson. Daisy Ramirez.
Present.
And David Seymour.
Present.
Okay. Next is public participation and recognition. Subject A is public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order, and we have no public comments tonight. Subject B, board correspondence. I will start. Minerva and I had, well, actually, before I start with that, I wanted to first recognize Marilyn Buckner as an Athena Award finalist. She's there tonight. Maybe she's won. We don't know. But either way, let's honor that.
Someone's tweeting me, texting me
oh.
if it happens.
It's it is a really big honor. I know that it takes a lot of work because I've nominated people for that award before, and so it takes a lot of people to come together to really put that nomination in. So we're excited to have someone a part of our district that is in that finalist category. And then I also wanted to make sure Sarah asked me, and I realized there was a email sitting in my drafts. November 3rd is when we're doing our board self-evaluation at 6 p.m. It worked for everybody at the time. I hope it still works for you because this is it. This is our date. And I really appreciate all of your flexibility doing that because rearranging our schedules to make sure that we could all be there. It's really important that we're all a part of that. And then lastly, I wanted to just say, I thank the board again for approving for Minerva and I to go on this service project with EF Tours. We got back late last night, and it really gave us a lot of ideas. Really the point of it is that they can provide these opportunities for our students. And so if we can take some of the ideas that we got through service learning and apply that even if it's just locally, but also looking at these possibilities of having students travel domestically and internationally, exchange cultures and do service projects that also maintain the dignity and humanity of the locals that they're partnering with. So I thought it was really eye-opening and I think inspiring. There was a lot of ideas that came from that. So. And it was sponsored by Hodges and Louisi, an architect group, and a construction group also that all work with education, or with educators. So it was really, thank them too. Anyone else have anything to comment on?
I had a meeting yesterday with some of the administrators and HumanX, the people that will be doing survey. We talked about the layout and how we're going to roll out the surveys and all that stuff, and the flexibility of the timeline and all that. So we are hopeful that that will roll out in the next week or so. And hopefully everyone, once we're able to roll it out, we can encourage everyone to participate in the survey, and so we could get the best results, so that we can obviously, of course, work collectively to support, everyone within the district, to see how we can better, the culture and the climate for everyone, the students, the staff, and of course, figure out how we can better support everyone. So our hope is that everyone will hopefully fill it out. So we had a discussion about that.
Daisy, who all did you meet with?
It was Ms. Parker, Ms. Pringle, Ms. Salas, Mr. Black,
Mr.
Billy, Mr. Wermo.
And Mr. Black is the gentleman from HumanX, and there was a lady with him.
Ooh, I forgot her
Kate,
name.
I think I saw in the email, I don't know. I wasn't, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Yes.
It was Kate?
Yes,
Something.
okay, yes, okay.
So Daisy, Ms. Parker, Ms. Pringle, Ms. Allison, Billy, Mr. Okay.
So that will be going out, you said, in the next week or so?
Yes, yes, we just talked about like just the process of, you know, the ins and the outs of like when we're able to fit it and how it will look, how it will roll out. So it should be in the works this week, being sent to, as a draft to, Dr. Garcia Sanchez and then, and Jackie, and to basically talk about the distribution of it and how they roll it out, because it's obviously all handled through them, but it's still gonna be
What's all
run
handled through, wait,
through Human X,
okay, I just wanted to clarify, it's not handled through.
not through us, it's through
We
Human X.
send it out,
It
but
just
all the
sounded-
results
It sounded
go
like
to
you said
them.
you were giving it to Dr. Sanchez and it was.
Well, they will give it to us so that we can review the questions and so that we are aware of how the questions are gonna look and what is gonna be presented.
So who reviews the questions?
Human X is the one that receives all of, what questions?
I'm just trying to clarify, you were just saying that,
Human X is gonna run the survey. But we
Right,
are gonna
I-
receive a copy of what the survey is gonna look like.
Like,
So-
will receive.
Like the board,
Yes.
is that what you're saying, we? Or you said
Who
Dr.
receives
Garcia?
the
No,
survey?
it's gonna be sent to Jackie and to Minerva first. Like, it's gonna be sent to them and then it's gonna be, obviously, we're gonna receive a copy of it. So
And
we
an
can know.
email.
And an email. And we're just gonna be told how the, obviously, they're gonna show us what the layout's gonna be based on what we asked.
okay, so I guess I'm just trying to clarify, so who approves the survey questions, and you do,
No.
It's their survey
It's their survey.
questions. I don't think we approve it.
I guess, I'm just confused, cause you're saying that it goes, does it?
So the
am I-
survey is going to be, once it's actually, the questions are gathered based on what we requested for it to be based on culture and climate and to be assessed also, there's gonna be some questions of DEI included in there.
Right.
So once the questions are gathered for our district, particularly focused on our district and our needs, it's going to be sent to us basically so that we can see what is it that the staff members are going to be receiving.
And who is us, I guess that's what my.
Like first it's gonna be sent to Minerva and the board.
So it'll go to us all together?
Yes.
Okay,
I assume Minerva will have to send it
Yes.
to us.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you know what the window, how long it will be open?
It's going to be open for a week. They said that they recommend for it to be open for a week.
And all of the responses go to HumanX, cause it's a link, it's completely third party.
It is completely third party.
who shares out the survey, Humanex shares it out?
I think they send it to us to send out, because I saw the email. There's codes for each building. So each building, when they access the link from HumanX, they put in their building code.
So they send it to us, but they
Right.
give us exactly what we're sending out on behalf of everybody, so that they don't gather any personal information from our staff or anything like up front. They send it to us so that we can push it out, but when our staff replies to the actual survey, they get the responses. We don't get them.
Is that,
So-
it's just because we have the distribution list? part.
Yes, because we have the distribution lists. And that's what he said from the beginning when he presented. When he presented
So
here.
who actually pushes it out? Like who will push the email out to staff?
Jackie, probably?
Who puts what together?
Who
I
would
said,
push
will
the email out?
to staff?
Well, it already comes packaged and it just gets pushed out into
Right,
the
but
distribution.
who pushes it out? That's my
We'll
question.
probably have Ben do that.
Oh, I don't know. Is there a concern about who pushes it out?
Well, I just think based on all the reasons surrounding why we're doing this, I think it's very important that staff understands that this is not, it's anonymous and it's not being
Right.
pushed out by the district, it's not being received by the district, it's being pushed out and received by HumanX so that they can look at the results, so that they can give us the feedback that we need to make corrections in our culture and climate, so that staff, students, families are feeling good about the district. So I wanna just be very clear when we're talking about it, and I wanna be very clear that everyone understands that this is a third party.
Yes,
So
That is correct.
it's not filtering through administration,
correct.
because we want people to respond honestly, and we want people to respond in large numbers.
Yes,
So that's why I'm
absolutely.
asking for lots of clarification
Yeah.
on what's
I was just, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. We want to make sure that it's, yeah.
Then is there an easier way for that to occur without it having to come through us?
Yeah, I think that the tech department and Humanex can work together and try to come up with a way that will make it so that way maybe they're sending it specifically to our addresses rather than it arriving from the d428.org
Yeah, I
address.
think that's
I think
ideal.
that might.
You
solve
can
some of
provide
that.
the listserv so that it goes to the right building with the right code.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd like all the questions provided to the board.
Yeah, I think if they're shared with us, then yeah, we'll all have them.
Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Simple.
Any other board, did you want to share something, Chance?
Yeah, so we're starting to plan the student committee board in high school, and
Yeah, they're not going to hear you at home.
we're gonna be planning the student committee board soon. I'm gonna have a meeting with Ms. Larson this Thursday, and interviews and any like essay question will be out soon, so we can look forward to that soon in high school.
That's really exciting. Feel free to ask for any support or help that you need. Right. Any questions for Chance?
That's great. You excited?
Long time coming. Any other board correspondence or report outs?
That was my report. I was just excited
Oh,
to talk
sorry.
about that. No, not like just like that's all I was gonna say is I was excited about that, so.
Okay.
Like a proud mom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. All right. Category 4, public participation recognition. Since 1990, the governor of Illinois has designated the third full week of October as Principals Week. This year, October 16th through the 22nd, with Principals Day on October 21st. You want to stop there for snaps? Whereas school principals play an integral role in the education and growth of children in elementary, middle, and secondary schools across the state of Illinois, and whereas school principals are responsible for promoting education and building relationships with teachers and parents to ensure that each child receives equitable educational opportunities and services to reach their potential, and whereas a primary responsibility of the state of Illinois is to preserve and improve resources for schools so that all schools have access to quality education and foundation for a successful future, and whereas the Illinois Principals Association, which represents over 6,000 educational leaders statewide, believes that learning is a lifelong process and that the education of our children is the highest priority. And whereas school leaders face many obstacles in supporting and educating our young people, and through their perseverance, devotion, and passionate leadership, that Illinois continues to produce quality, career-ready students. And whereas school principals have continued to face unprecedented challenges since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and have worked tirelessly to provide mental health, social-emotional support, and uninterrupted learning to the members of their schools since 2020. And whereas we must continue to encourage, support, and recognize our school principals who have a positive impact on Illinois students and the educational system in the land of Lincoln, therefore, L.J.B. Pritzker, Governor of the State of Illinois, do hereby proclaim October 16th through the 22nd, 2022 as Principals Week, and Friday, October 21st, 2022 as Principals Day in Illinois. So thank you for our principals.
And our assistant principals.
And our assistant principals. Do you want to add anything?
And our assistant principals.
And our assistant principals. Okay. Next is our consent agenda, and it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A through F as attached. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
You pick.
Either one of us.
Amanda seconded. Roll call, please.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson, Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
and Amanda Harness.
Yes.
6, old business, subject A, DHS Student Council Winter Retreat Overnight Trip. This is an action item that was presented to us by Donna Larson. And it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the DHS Student Council to travel to Chicago, Illinois to stay at the Hyatt Hotel or Cambria Hotel to participate in team building bonding activities on December 3rd and 4th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson, Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Samantha McDavid.
Yes. Subject B, request to bid food service management company. This is an action item that was presented by Cindy Carpenter, and it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the request to bid for the food service contract. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got that?
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson, Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses.
Yes.
Number 7, new business administration. Subject A is the NABE conference. This is informational, brought to us by Sarah Montgomery and AJ Crook.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. That is for the National Association for Bilingual Education. This mirrors the request of what the elementary does to better hone and develop their programming for the dual language program. So they go to the La Cosecha in November in New Mexico. So this will mirror that to support the secondary leadership to prepare for the roll-up of the two-way dual language into the middle school level. And it will take place in Oregon, the state of Oregon. This is paid through Title III.
Any questions? No? Consensus to bring this back for action?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Subject B, staffing request, instructional assistant Jefferson, and this is listed as information and action, and we have Kyle Gertis and Deidre Salas.
Alright, good evening.
Good evening.
Due to an increase in services that are needed for students in our elementary SOL program, which is housed at multiple buildings, but specifically for this request Jefferson, we are looking to increase our instructional assistants by 1 FTE. In doing so, well, this decision is driven by adjustments to students' individualized education plans, which would indicate an increase in the services that are needed. By increasing those services, what we're able to do is provide educational opportunities for all students in that program that are in their least restrictive environment, which is oftentimes our goal. And that'll support students that can be supported out in the general education environment for a larger part of their day. The estimated cost for an instructional assistant ranges between $35,200 and $46,200, depending on the experience and salary benefit package. The reason for the request to consider this as information action tonight is because of the urgency to fill the position to stay in compliance with the needs within the student's IEP. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions? Consensus to go ahead and move on this tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the addition of the 1.0 FTE instructional assistant SOL for Jefferson Elementary. Due to the immediate need to fill this position for state and legal compliance, it is recommended that the Board of Education consider the urgency of this request and take action immediately. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jeremy Olson, Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses.
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Subject C, staffing request addition of 2.0 FTE speech language pathologist, and this is information brought by Kyle Gertis and Deidre Salas. We did approve it. That's what we just voted on, to approve it,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Thought that we were moving
We
from
were moving, I
information.
gotcha,
Got it.
yeah.
All right, so Illinois Illinois Administrative Code states that speech and language pathologists must maintain a caseload no higher than 60 at any point in time. What we do is we kind of look at number of students on each SLP's caseload as we go throughout the year. This is kind of an ongoing process. What we've determined is that 7 of the 15 SLPs that we have currently have over 50 students on their caseload, the median number being 50. We also have 340 evaluations for special education services in progress at this moment, as of last Thursday, I guess. And then 60 of which include an evaluation that our SLPs will have a part of. So possible that they could add to their case management responsibilities. And then factoring that with our anticipated opening of an early childhood classroom, which will require additional evaluations and strong likelihood of additional services provided by our speech and language pathologists, we've determined that we'll need 2 additional speech and language pathologists to ensure that we stay compliant with that Illinois Administrative Code, and then kind of manage the increase in caseload that we anticipate could happen over the next several months.
Do you anticipate that we'll be able to fill those positions, like considering that we had to hire, contract out for school psychologists and?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now hiring mid-year for a lot of positions can be tricky, but we also have had luck in the past, so specifically with our SLPs when it comes to those December grads.
Okay.
So we've, our SLPs are a great group. They've already kind of put the feelers out to their grad program saying, hey, if you got anybody who's graduating. In the event that we haven't been able to fill them, we've been able to work through a contracted agency to kind of supplement or fill our gaps in terms of staying in compliance.
And are SLPs easier to get than school psychologists, and they're probably a bit more plentiful, or no?
You know what? Honestly, they're both pretty hard to fill
Okay.
positions. Historically, for us as a department, we've had trouble filling those year after year, which is typically why I think either myself or my predecessor has come to the board asking for contracted services. In recent years, we've had more luck filling those, and I think honestly that's got a lot to do with our current SLP group and how they advocate for those openings and have some good connections. So they're hard to fill positions, but I feel pretty optimistic that we'd be able to fill them either through hopefully somebody who applies and we hire, or a contracted service.
So these positions are in anticipation of increased caseloads or increased services needed. If after the evaluations come through and you maybe only need 1, is that a possibility, or you're pretty sure, like it's pretty positive you're gonna need those 2?
I am 100% positive we're gonna need 1 because
Yep.
our caseloads are kind of at that point right now. And a very strong likelihood that not only the current 60 that we have in progress now, but we're kind of in that part of the year where the initial referrals and screenings are gonna continue to happen. So
Okay.
this is a little bit of a snapshot of what we have, but we'll have more evaluations open. And part of the decision is based on caseload numbers, but then where it gets a little bit more complicated is scheduling of our SLPs and ensuring that we keep those caseloads low, but they're also able to get across 2 or 3 buildings to meet students' needs. And so by adding 2 SLPs, it'll allow us to schedule everybody so they can do that and maintain those lower caseloads, I should say.
Then what, I mean, it's mandated
Then what's
that they have to be,
mandated, yeah.
okay.
Low is not the right word.
Yeah. Any other questions? Consensus to bring this back for action?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Subject D, Technology Department realignment, and this is information.
Of course.
Yes.
You the fog machine and lasers, but I just said no. So, yes, the technology department realignment. So why are we doing this? So the technology department has evaluated what staffing adjustments would provide efficiencies and streamline processes for the department's workload and the district as a whole. These changes will result in a redistribution of work duties among various staff. Some of the points to consider. The department has not been realigned since 2016 when I took over this role. As other departments have realigned, it has caused a ripple effect in the increased support and responsibilities for teaching and learning in the classroom. Recently, the department has lost 2 diverse employees. Both saw 30% increases in pay with similar or better benefits, including options for remote work. Others in the department have shared that they are applying and actively interviewing for other opportunities. Highlighted pay inequities in the department compared to duties in other pre-K through 12 educational technology departments in the region have been highlighted. To align to the current district strategic priorities, including retaining quality staff and hiring diverse candidates, we need to realign the department and create equitable pay scales based on experience, education, and duties that align to our direct competitors, and to improve and enhance delivery models by providing the district with video production and enhanced communications for increased transparency to internal and external stakeholders. Uh-oh.
Just so you know, you got 14 minutes before recess. I tried to stop it, and you didn't want to.
Tact
It won't, okay. Wow.
13, kidding.
Sure enough.
And he's a techie. That's fine.
So this is the current organizational chart. This is basically how we know it to be as of right now. So you can see that, obviously I'm on the top. But across the middle are our system analyst 2s. And then below that are our IT support specialists, and then our part-time network engineer is right there with 0.5 FTE. So the future organizational chart looks a little bit different. So again, I'm at the top. But then you'll see there's an IT support manager. That person would be directly overseeing the roles of the IT support specialists as well as our hourly staff. You'll also see that the computer and information systems manager is also just going to be specifically a manager. We are dropping the system analyst 2 portion of that. Below that, you can see that there is a system analyst 2 for educational technology analyst, as well as endpoint systems engineer. And below that, there is a system analyst 1 for video production specialist. And then the IT support specialists are maintaining their same roles. So the current organizational chart with salaries, you can see currently where staff are based by salary, and you can see that we're primarily focusing on the middle band there, the system analyst 2s. So in the new alignment, what we'll see is the IT support manager role will have a new salary band of $75,000 to $85,000, as well as the other computer and information systems manager. You'll see that our administrative assistant currently is up for retirement in 2026. We also have a system analyst 2, and that pay range is 65 to 75. And then the system analyst 1 role is 55 to 65, and then the IT support specialists are 45 to 55. So the recommendation is that we establish pay scales that are equitable. They increase as they move along the pay scale, as well as the duties assigned to those individual employees. So you have a hierarchy of 45 to 55, 55 to 65, 65 to 75, 75 to 85. So the method for calculating the salaries was we used comparables from Kane County specifically. Worked with the staff to align the duties of their position with the duties that align with the job titles and experience from Kane County districts. There was no district that perfectly aligned in duties to exactly our specific employees, and that was true across the board for Kane County. So we picked the positions that had the closest number of duties and responsibilities assigned to them. We averaged those salaries. So for instance, if St. Charles had duties that aligned closest with the IT support manager, and there were 3 of those, we took all 3 of those positions and then averaged them out. We took the total from each district, created an average for each position. We did throw out outliers, so somebody with similar duties but had 20 plus years of experience and were on the retirement track, those people were removed from that calculation, because obviously they're getting those bumps in pay and their salary if they're on the retirement track. So this gave us an accurate picture of salaries in the educational technology jobs in the region, matching duties, and similar benefits. And I did include in the slide, in the next one, for new job descriptions. The job descriptions have been outlined for each one of the positions that has a marked change to it. So you can see that the systems analyst one, video production specialist, the duties associated with that are outlined in that link. Same for the IT support manager, computer and information systems manager, educational technology analyst, and endpoint systems engineer. And with that, that would then realign the department. It would correlate the salaries to our closest competitors. Obviously, this does not take into account private industry. We flat out are not competing at private industry levels at this point. So this still leaves us susceptible to probably our biggest hiring group that's opening up down the road with the data center. But with that, are there questions? We went through that awfully quick before the computer reboots.
When do they open?
Sorry, say
I
what?
said, when do they open?
Meta?
Yeah.
They've already hired some who are working shifts there in the H building. I know that I forget the other name of the data center. Maybe it's an additional H. Those are obviously still under construction, but I think those are due in the next year or so.
How many positions do they have over there at that level?
I think it's over 100.
Really?
Maybe it's just right around there, if I remember correctly from Matt Sexton.
What's the increase in budget on this? The difference?
So I think the total increase was
54,560.
Yeah,
54.
54.
Is it in there? I didn't see it.
It's in
It's on the other
separate.
document,
Oh, okay.
The other
I
attachment,
just looked through
the actual like. board
54,560.
And this does not increase the FTE counts. This keeps the FTE counts the same. It just realigns the salaries, and then it specifically puts the duties underneath the specific people. Because what we have found, especially when we were hiring for the system analyst 2 position, is that the job description was written very broad when I initially did these in 2016 and aligned the team. So it was pretty hard to bring in people, and they're like, so what is it I'm exactly doing? So what this does is it literally puts, this is what this person exactly does. And that's very important for me, because if and when somebody else leaves, we're not gonna be able to keep everybody, but it allows us to have an accurate job description, so that way when we put it out there, people know exactly what they're applying for, and we have competitive salary scales, so that way I can actually get a quality candidate and bring them in, and we have less learning loss associated with that as well.
Can I ask, cause I appreciate that you did like that comparison with like our nearest competitors, because I believe when we did the salary study overall, specifically technology departments were very difficult to actually get real comparisons, and so that was kinda like it's just hard to figure out if we were even on the right track with that. So you feel like you were able to get some really good, a better understanding of what comparisons are by digging into those job responsibilities?
Yeah, King County's been nice enough to invite me to hang out with them. So I hang out with the other directors at King County, and the issue they were facing was all the districts were basically poaching from all the other districts. What was happening is somebody would hop from one district to the next district, and within a 1-year period of time get, $5,000 here and another 5 there and another 5 there to get to where they wanted to be. But what ended up happening is you're just leaving all the districts in a lurch, and people were doing that. So the idea behind this exercise was for all the districts to sort of try to align themselves, so that way everybody's within the same sort of salary band, and that the duties were easy to tell, so when somebody's trying to hop back and forth. So the idea was everybody was kind of realigning over there, and it just sort of worked out perfectly that this is also a time that we needed to look at it as well. So it was very easy for us to look at current trends, current data, current salaries, benefits, years of service in educational technology as well as years of service within that specific district. So that's what we tried to align with BOCES was all of those things and then take an average of it. And that's how we came up with the pay scales.
Any other questions? And you'd like us to bring this back for action?
I'd appreciate it.
Is there consensus to bring this back for action?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Next. Yeah. Next is superintendent update.
Good evening. Let's see if we got an update yet. No update. If anybody else gets one out there before I do, let me know. I got Jackie and Billy over there waiting to tell me something. So first and foremost, I wanted to thank Tammy and facilities and all of the staff actually for getting us moved out of this glorious place and out to Cheeseboro and to NIU, and everybody is in place, we're working, and it seems like we're all getting the rhythm of the work getting done. You know, it's a little different to be in a different space doing the work that we do on a daily basis, but the work doesn't change. But thank you so much for everybody making sure that we stay organized and the work continued. I can tell here that Tammy's just waiting for this be our last meeting in this building so she can take complete control of it. And when we return in March, hopefully, it'll be late March, this room will also be a little different and more conducive to the kind of work that we do here. So thank you, thank you. The next thing I want to talk about is courageous principals. So I know that there's been quite a bit of chatter out in public and other spaces about courageous principals and us having taken our principals and a few other school leaders out to Dallas, Texas with Deloitte. I just want to reiterate once again, Deloitte is a company, international conglomerate that does work with a lot of businesses, but one of the things that they do on the sidearm and to give back to the community is to do professional development and growth leadership for the educational arm of the world. They know how important it is to make sure that school leaders and administrators get what they need to be successful. Because of that, they have a number of individuals, a foundation that give enough money to cover scholarships. And in our case, we received a full scholarship to attend Deloitte. Aside from just getting, the only thing that the district had to pay for was the flight. And so I'm very grateful for that. So grateful, in fact, that I was risky enough to ask for another one. So I don't know how to just say thank you and I'm done, but now I've also asked for the rest of our school leaders to be able to attend in February. They gave us, let me think about it. So we're waiting to hear to see if they'll allow us to send the rest of our school leaders that haven't attended yet to that. There's more coming because just like there is training for school leaders, there's other kinds of things that'll happen for teaching staff and other support staff that'll help us actually build everyone. I was talking to Sarah earlier today about the University of Chicago To and Through project, and I was able to get in touch with both executive directors, and we might have another scholarship coming there. So we're hoping that we continue to reach out and show what DeKalb is doing, what we're willing to do, and how supportive everyone is, that these companies, these entities are very willing to support our work. And so, you know, all of us working together and being supportive of that is really going to be helpful in getting these scholarships for our community. So I wanted to let you all know that, and I wanted to say thank you publicly to them and to the board for allowing us to go and to send additional individuals eventually once we get the second leg of this part of our scholarship. And I think that's it for me.
Any questions? Okay. With that, the meeting will be adjourned. It is recommended that the Board of Education will adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.